Well, it's going to be another warm wait at the bus stop. It's I think a top of 33 degrees today in Cairns. So again, make it about 32 degrees up here in the northern beaches. There's a bit of a breeze, which is always appreciated. Takes a little bit of the edge off, but the bus should hopefully be coming down Gannett Street in about 5 minutes time. So I shouldn't have to wait too long at the bus stop. They are fairly reliable, thank God, the local bus services. Very rarely do they get cancelled. So I've had a couple of buses with mechanical issues, but that's about it. And one cancellation, I think, in all the time I've been here, which is over 4 years now. So, yeah, we'll see how it all goes. But I finally got round to editing my latest video on the new computer, and yeah, definitely faster at rendering, which is what I expected. It probably maybe 3 times as fast, I'd say. It was a pretty painless process, so that was good, but it still took the same time to upload on the online. So, but at least I didn't have any hassles like I did previously. that old graphics card that Adam replaced the old one with just isn't up to scratch, and I think that was the major reason why I was having so many issues with when I tried doing an editing on that machine. Has very limited functionality unless I want to upgrade the graphics card, but I don't see much point, because now my new computer seems to be running fine. So that's good in a way. I haven't done anything about my the leak in the property. I'm still turning the main tap off to prevent any wastage of water. I just don't know whether I need to get John to come around to see if he can find this leak, because I don't know if it's going to be anything major. What I'd love is to get an update of my water usage from the council. That would help a lot, just so I know what the spend is at this stage, and if it's not too bad, then I might just not bother about turning the mains off. But it's a bit of a pain because you can't run your taps. You have to use a bucket to wash hands and stuff. So it's not ideal. Makes you realise what pioneers had to go through, I suppose. It's that's the positive. You want to be a half glass full guy as opposed to half empty. Well, it doesn't feel stinking hot at the moment, but I don't want to be hanging around there. There's just no shade here at all, unfortunately. So, especially this time of the day, almost midday, there's, at the other ends of the day you can get some shade, but not right now. It's pretty well, the sun's overhead and there's nowhere to escape. So hopefully the bus will turn up soon. Oh, well, the sun's down, which is fantastic. It takes a lot of the angst out of the weather at the moment, and there's a bit of a breeze. Had a bit of luck with both buses today coming back from the hospital. Got them straight away. And but I've got to say that there is an argument to be made for using the auto checkouts at the supermarkets, because there was a young guy actually serving on one of the lines, and I didn't have to wait too long before I got served. But the downside was I bought some primo ham for $3, and he put it through the register twice, so I paid double. Not happy. And I had a funny feeling when I went up there, and I thought, oh God, it's a young guy. I wonder if he's going to do the job properly. And it turned out he didn't. He actually ripped me off. So there you go. So there is an argument for doing your own scanning, I guess. But yeah, was really lucky to get this bus because there was a long line of passengers waiting to board. That's how I got on it, and it was obviously very late. And yeah, it was about 13 minutes late, so I was able to catch it. So always worthwhile just getting out of the supermarket as soon as you can, just on the off chance that that could occur, because it's probably just before 5 o'clock getting back, and there's no way I would have got back before 5 if I had missed that bus. Would have been at least a half hour or more to wait. So there you go. So a bit of luck and a bit of bad luck, a bit of a slight and also when I was rushing to the bus, because I didn't realise the bus was actually there until I got nearby. Then I started running towards it, and I must have dropped one of my dollar coins. And a lady there was kindly handed it back to me and said I dropped it. So that was nice of her. So there are honest people out there. So I might have got ripped off for $3, but I did get $1 back from an honest person. So I suppose that's a good thing overall. And the kid wasn't doing it on purpose. It's just, as I said, I had a feeling that this may not be the best transaction. I was dead right. He did stuff it. So there you go. Right, it's Wednesday, and about 11:45, and I'm heading down to Coast Watchers. Just got to get some stuff there before Sid will pick me up and we go to the sports club, which I'm looking forward to because it's air conditioned. And just walking out of the house, it feels really humid. It's overcast, thank God, but it's just much warmer than I can remember. Just if the sun was out, it'd be really horrible. But luckily we've got some cloud cover. But it will not rain. It just keeps teasing us with potential rain. Look at the clouds on the radar, but they never come to Cairns. So yeah. Also, I discovered that my neighbour immediately behind my block, she's selling her house. So I saw, because I've been looking at properties online, and I saw that her place came on up for sale, which sort of doesn't surprise me in a way, because she hasn't been around for months, because I know she's there or not, because her dog would be there and it always barks. But it's been quiet for a few months now, and yeah, it looks like she's selling up, which is good in a way, because whoever buys the place, I'm hoping that they do a little bit of landscaping and maybe put some vegetation in the back of her block that provides them with privacy, and also me. I don't want to be staring into the rear of their property. But she just denuded it all a couple of years ago, cleared it all out, and also put this monstrous shipping container in the back of the house. It looks really ugly. So I have a feeling that might go, and maybe there'll be some landscaping done, although I don't know how long I'm going to be here myself. I am looking at all my options continually, although for the next few months it's going to be a pretty dead market over summer. But you never know. I certainly wouldn't want to put my property on the market this time of year. So people who are selling, you think they're sort of forced selling at this time of the year, but who knows? Hopefully I'll survive this walk, and then, like I say, getting into an air-conditioned environment is a must. It's probably a little nicer down by the sea. I don't think Sid's is suffering as much as me, because he's in Trinity Beach, and they get a lot of wind off the offshore. So it would relieve this heat, but it cooled down for about a day, just a little bit, and now the heat seems to have come back again. Although I don't know if they're actually calling it a heat wave again, but gee, it's warm. We just haven't had any rain to break the cycle, which is a bit of a worry. And quite a few things happening overseas, especially in the news, is Western Canada looks as though they're quite serious about breaking away from the eastern portion of Canada. So the western provinces, they'll become either independent or part of the United States. Depends what sort of a deal they offer them, I guess. But because they've got natural resources like oil and what have you, Ottawa's been putting on a lot of taxes and what have you, and stipulations that have cut back on their development, and they're not happy. And the thing is, if Ottawa doesn't have that income stream from those western states like Alberta, they could be in all sorts of strife. Won't be able to balance their books. So it's it's pretty full on. I mean, a while back there was talk of WA maybe wanting to secede, and a little bit of talk about Queensland, especially where I am, right far north Queensland. There's been talk of secession, but just talk. But not so in Alberta. They already have the framework there to actually start the process of seceding from the rest of Canada. And Saskatchewan next door to it's looking at doing the same thing, and a couple of other western states. So like I said, they could form their own confederation or something, or become part of the US. It'd have to be a pretty good deal for them to do that, you would think, but they reckon they're getting screwed around by their own government, so they're shopping around for a better deal. Well, it's a muggy Friday and I'm heading down to Smithfield just to do some shopping at Woolies. And I've got to do a mad dash to the bus. I've left it to the last minute, but not a problem. Should be about 5 to 6 minutes before it turns up here. So won't be a major issue. Whew. Yeah, a bit humid. A little bit of a breeze, there's some cloud cover, that's good. And I'm testing out my repaired shoes today. Got a backup pair of thongs in the bag, but hopefully the shoes will hold up. A couple of weeks since I repaired them, so it's been a while. Anyway, we'll hopefully get all the crap I want to get done today, and later on I'll catch up with Sid. It's his birthday today, so there's no way I'm going to let him buy me any drinks today. And then the old weekend, which generally is pretty quiet for me, but it's good to get out and about, even just to do shopping. At least it's air conditioned, that'll be nice. Because, as I say, it's pretty well permanent humidity at the moment. So, I wouldn't mind being in a temperate zone right now. Now, I wasn't able to actually sit down when I first came to the stop. I got out of the supermarket really early. But that seat was covered with groceries that passengers waiting here had just put all over the seat, so it left no room to actually sit down. Funnily enough, a couple of cops turned up, which is very rare, and did say to them, look, this is a public space and you need to make provision for other people to sit down. And as soon as the cops left, what do you reckon? They started drinking booze, which I don't think there's a liquor licence for the bus stop somehow, but I might be wrong there. At least not for me there isn't anyway. Well, it's a damp Tuesday morning and heading off to Coast Watchers at Trinity Beach. Just got to have a blood test and pick up some meds. Gives me an excuse to get some exercise, that's good. And it's a rather damp morning. We had quite a bit of rain, which is nice because I've been hanging out for it, but of course it does increase the humidity, although it is more pleasant walking down there now. And we'll see how my shoe repair holds up. It's so far so good. It's been okay, but we'll see if we can take a trip there and back again. I was thinking about going down to Smithfield, but I'm too tired. I had a terrible night's sleep. But overall, my sleeping's improved quite a bit, but just last night was a shocker. And so I'll look forward to getting back home in a little over an hour's time, get my morning coffee and have a bit of a snooze a bit later too. There's a bit of clear sky there. Looks like there's a cyclone off this coast. I looked at the radar, but they didn't mention it was a cyclone, so just a big patch of moisture, but it was a fair way out, so I don't think it's going to affect me. And I'll feel better for the walk for sure, always do. So, another weird thing happened to me yesterday. I'm having bit of bad luck. The toilet seat slid straight off from the bowl. It actually, I've only had it for about 3 to 4 months, probably 3, and the bloody thing's disengaged from the actual toilet bowl. So you can't. There's the way it was latched on obviously was pretty pathetic. So not a good job there, Bunnings, whatever you're selling. Although it could be. Maybe the Dale didn't install it properly, although I would have thought that section would be pre-done. I don't know, maybe not. I can't get Dale anyway. He seems to be permanently unavailable now. So there's some drama for him at home, and I don't expect to hear back from him, which is a bit of a shame because it's great to have a handyman that you can rely on if you've got a house. So it's another incentive to downsize, really. So I just don't think I want to continue on with that sort of all the responsibilities. If you're not a handyman yourself, there's a lot to do around a house. So I'm always looking at alternatives, and I look at the real estate listings every few days just to keep abreast of what's going on. I think it's a smart move anyway. But I'd still have to prepare my own place for sale. I have to put a new upright stove in the kitchen. And it's going to make it more complicated because I was hoping Dale might be able to remove the cooktop that I've already installed. But he's, like I say, he's not around now. So, I don't know. Not sure what I'm going to do. But that's something that does have to be done to make it, to put into a saleable position. Also, still got to get the repair done to where the water leak was found. There's a little bit of an opening now where the actual where the pipes are. It needs to be surrounded by sand and then covered with concrete. So I was hoping Dale's going to do that as well, but I might just have to look in Facebook and see if I can find handymen there in this area, Northern Beaches. There presumably be at least one person doing that sort of thing up here. You think there'd be plenty of work for them, so just got to get off my arse and do a bit of research. Well, it's Thursday, got to go off to Cairns. Another warm day, fairly sunny. But not stinking hot, so I suppose got to take whatever you can get. It's just the house heats up mainly if I've had a succession of warm days, and you don't get many cool ones up here, so it doesn't get a chance to really cool down. When I was in Melbourne, of course, you had the cool changes, and you could totally air out your house and totally cool it down again, and then you were looking forward to the next heat wave because it was actually started feeling chilly, but you just don't get those respites up here. So, I actually had to carry out a shoe repair. I'd repaired the right let me think, get this right. I think I was on the, might have been the left. Well, one of the shoes I'd repaired, I think was on the left. Actually, it was a left-hand shoe. I'd repaired, and it seems to be working okay. The glue seems to be holding, but of course the right one just virtually the whole sole came off, and it was just hanging by several threads. So I fixed that today. At least I tried to fix it. I had at least 50% of the glue in the tube still, so hopefully it's enough. But it was a huge error at the cover. And I'm using weight, and I'm going to leave it there for a couple of days. I've got some stones out the front, and they should keep it nice and compressed. And hopefully it'll work again. So I looked up reliable, well-made runners, because I'm getting a bit fed up with these cheapo ones. And Brooks came up. And I think I've had a pair of Brooks runners in the past. I think they were fairly comfortable, if I recall. So if I've got to pay a bit more money, I think it's worth it just to save the hassle. Because unfortunately, the quality of stuff, especially buying on eBay, can be very, very dodgy at times. And yeah, I think this is one of those occasions. I think they just didn't properly adhere the sole to the rest of the shoe in the factory. Quality control's obviously not good there. You'd think there'd be an automatic machine that would test to make sure the bond's correct, but I can't imagine it was properly they put enough adhesive in to do the job properly. But I'm no handyman. I got bamboozled by my toilet seat sliding off, and it was just, it hadn't been correctly installed. And that was my handyman, or ex-handyman by the looks of things, Dale, because he's been incommunicado for a few weeks. Dale's off the scene by the looks of things. I hope his health's okay, but Sid tried contacting him because Sid put off getting him to do some tiling work, and by the time he decided to contact him, Dale's now out of the scene by the looks of things, and it could be permanent. So look, I hope his health's okay, but he didn't even reply to Sid. And Sid thought, you know, that's pretty ordinary. You know, he should just say, look, I'm not doing it anymore. But then again, Dale might have lost his phone too. That has happened before. So you don't want to make too many assumptions about people unless you know all the facts. He was a very reliable handyman though, so he'd be well missed, and had quite a few chats with him. So, yeah, you build up a relationship with something like that, and it's a shame when it sort of breaks off. I've had a few guys that do handiwork for me, have been quite nice guys and done decent work. So, yeah, a bit of a shame when they drop out of it, but he's definitely got health issues, so, you know, I'm sure that's, well, there's a fair chance that that's got something to do with it, or it could be money, could be anything, who knows. But again, I'm just speculating. But I do need someone to help me with that house, because I'm just hopeless with a lot of maintenance. But like Sid's got a bit of knowledge. He can fix certain things, which is handy. He did a lot of his own repairs when he had a 3-story place in the hinterland off the Sunshine Coast. So pity never got to see that place. It looked pretty impressive. I was surprised when he showed me a photo of it. I could have stayed, do a good offer. I should have taken him up on that offer. Anyway, lost opportunities. I'm on the long walk home again. Got the 110 to the highway, that bus, and yeah, I'm going to walk back home probably. Still beat the bus, I'd say, because I think I just missed it, unfortunately. I think it got here before the 110. It might be a terminus, you never know. But yeah, exercise is good, and the sun's not out, so it could be hotter, could be more oppressive. It's not too bad. So see how we go. Oh, yeah, so it took a bit longer today than I expected. There were some complications, so I'm leaving a bit later. There was no carbonated mineral water, at least not the Woolworths brand on shelves. So it's a bit of a blow, but I might go to Coles tomorrow if Sid wants to go down to the brewery. I think there's a chance he does. We'll go to, yeah, I think he'd be quite happy to go to Coles after that because it's in the vicinity. So I guess the demand for mineral water is pretty high at the moment with the heat. So just one of those things. I would have actually had a delivery arranged this week if it hadn't been for the date that this week I had to go down to the hospital. Oh well, that's life. As Sid was saying to me, you have to basically expect things to stuff up in this world. That's just the way it is. And it's true, it is. Oh, one thing I hadn't seen before was this old guy going through the garbage bin just near where the Smithfield bus stop is. Rather sad to see. So he's rummaging right through it, and God knows if he found anything. I'd hate to think what he's eating, but yeah, I guess some people just they do it real tough. So there you go, slice of life as it were. But the bus trips themselves were okay today. There's no incidents. That was good. I always take that as a plus, because up here anything can happen on the buses. So yeah, just hope that I can make it back home without incident. It's not too heavy, the stuff I'm carrying. Like I say, the sun's not pounding down, so should be okay. Just take my time, pace myself, and hopefully one of that runner that I put the adhesive on, the glue, is still in one piece today, and I'll check it out in a couple of days. I'll give it till the weekend and before I test it, but you never know. Actually, I think that's the bus there. I might be wrong. I might see. Could be just an illusion. We'll see. I might be able to get at the terminus. That'd be good. Get a little bit of a walk, but also get a lift back home. Yeah, I wonder if that's a flame tree ahead. Gee, it's a beauty if it is. One of mine's is dying, the other one's okay, but they've got a few years before they'll flower like that though. Still, if I'm round long enough, I might be able to enjoy it if I've still got the house. Hey, what you're looking at here is my jerry-built shoe repair job. I've got the specific Sally's glue for the repair of the sole of shoes. And I used half of the tube to do the right shoe, and now the left shoe's just basically come off even more extremely. So I've had to glue the whole of the bottom and pull out stuff that was sticking out. And I'm hoping I put enough on the surface to give it a decent bond. What I've used there is a candlestick to go into the heel area with a one of the pavers that I've got here, which are quite heavy. The other tip I took off Sid was to I also put some pressure on the front of the shoe because the whole bottom of it came off and it was only just hanging on the edge. So what I've done is I've put a couple of socks in the front of the shoe to protect it while I'm putting the brick or the paver on top to provide a bit of adhesion force. It's been there since yesterday, and I'll give it a couple of days before I take it off the clamps, as it were, and fingers crossed that it works out okay. I was surprised how well the first fix worked, so fingers crossed with this one, but I think I'll be moving on to a better quality shoe of the Brooks variety, so to make sure I don't have this issue again, because it's happened with a number of shoes that I purchased either at Kmart or through eBay, and they're just not good quality. So I think it's time I went for a brand, and hopefully I won't be too out of pocket with it. We'll see how we go. Yeah, I'm in my backyard now, just focusing in on one of my capsicum plants, which is doing okay. You can see the size of this one, because you can put my hand there. That's quite decent. It's almost the size of a commercial capsicum. That's unusual. I'm a bit of a slacker, so something's eating away at it. I've got to put some pyrethrum spray on there, but that plant's doing particularly well. I've got a couple of other plants around that are doing equally well. Almost equally well, not quite. It's a bit of hype there, but I will get a few capsicums this year. And it's getting to the close of the season for the tomatoes. I've got several different varieties. These ones here are still fairly, have got a bit of ripening to do, so they're going to provide some. It's weird, some plants have produced nothing. Most of them produce something, every other plant has, but this is the one here that has produced absolute F all. And it's grown really tall, spindly. It's in a small pot, and that may be part of the problem. But yeah, it's just been a total failure. So it's very difficult with plants to work out, how they grow well. At least I've found it difficult. Look, I'm sorry about I haven't had much. I've been really slack lately, and I haven't updated the site. I just haven't felt motivated, to be quite frank. Nothing particularly exciting is happening in my life. I'm in a bit of a rut, just stuck in a routine. I'd rather be in a rut here than, say, back in my flat in Melbourne in Flinders Lane. That was a worse rut because at least, we've got warm weather all year round, which can be a bit of a challenge at times, but at least it's good weather for going outdoors, good weather for having dark beer later in the day, which I'll be doing with Sid at the McAllister Brewery. Yeah, they've got a porter. It's called a porter beer. It's very much like a stout, and it's a very nice beer. And looking forward to doing that later in the day, and might even get into some shopping because I went to Woolies yesterday wanting to get some carbonated mineral water, and unfortunately they'd sold out of the Woolies variety. Well, I mentioned that earlier. I'm just doubling up on that one, but yeah, that does happen from time to time, especially when the weather's warm. It's not as oppressively warm now, but I guess there's a delay with stocks coming up here. We are at the end of the road, is in effect in Cairns, so it does affect things like that. So overall, the garden's going okay. The ferns are doing okay because I just keep watering them. You can't overwater ferns. As a matter of fact, you can't overwater most of these plants here because I water them every day, and it doesn't seem to cause any hassles for them. They seem to like it. And the flowering plant, that one over there in the corner, I can get that in frame, that one just likes bucket loads of water. It could be that the soil's not so great at retaining water on that one, so I'm not sure, but I go for that's sort of all part of the routine I have here. Every second day I do the watering of the whole garden unless we've had some rain. And that's a bit of a drag, takes over an hour to do, but I do like to have a healthy garden. Interested to see what my neighbours at the back there, looking directly back there, got new neighbours. It's a double-storey place at the back, and that's why I have to have a lot of foliage to provide myself with privacy. And the golden pines or golden ferns, they're doing rather well at doing that job, but it still could do with a little more foliage. The thing is that I found out from the previous owner or the current owner until it goes through, the sale goes through, that they can't build a fence on their side because they've got there's a drainage easement just down between our two houses. It's a couple of metres wide, that's used for maintenance and drainage, and I can only build on my side, not theirs, presumably because they get the runoff. I don't know. But what originally happened was, before she moved in, the current owner who's selling, she just took down, pulled out all the foliage. And what pissed me off the most was that it's happened to me twice now. It happened to me with my flat in Parramatta Park. There's all this beautiful foliage. I've got this new gung-ho guy moving in on the body corporate, and he wanted everything to be cleaned up and what have you. and didn't even ask me, as an owner, whether it was okay with me, which is something that a fault with body corporates, that everyone should be consulted at least. You're going to make a major change like that. But yeah, the tree loppers just went crazy, and basically, it was turned from me looking at leafy trees to looking at a car park, which wasn't much of a transition. So yeah, body corporates can really suck at times. And at least as a homeowner, you've got a little more control over what's going on. So we're interested to see the new owners, if they're going to either grow trees to provide them with a bit of privacy, like it used to have, or build a fence. I mean, well, it'd have to be a damn high fence because it's got to be 2 stories. So it would be prohibitively expensive for them to do that. They'd be better off getting some fast-growing tree that can actually provide shade and stuff. So basically, I've been really slack and in a bit of a rut, and with the watering and also having to cook. I cook meals at my place probably about 6 days of the week. At least I had a meal at the sports club yesterday, and not yesterday, on Wednesday, and it was a guacamole chicken. What do they call those things? It was wrapped. It was a wrap. Yeah, sorry, that's right. They just call them wraps, and it was quite nice actually. And they're very generous with the portions they serve there, so I've never had any complaints there. And I had my guilty pleasure of hot chips as a side to it, and they're always good value, and they always give you too many. So it's brilliant. It's really good value. So so I just gave you a picture of a shot of my veranda ceiling, which is nothing inspiring. Just got to be very careful with this camera where I point it. Can be quite slack, and considering I've got crappy eyesight, it makes it doubly important. Yeah, so it's a bit of a rut, and I've got a bit of a dark cloud over my next trip, in that I don't know if I'm going to have medical complications, but stuff it. You can't live on the worst case scenario. You need to stick your neck out. The worst case for me would be if something happened over there. I've got a pre-existing condition which wouldn't be covered with the medical insurance that I'd take out, the travel insurance. I'd only do it for accidents or something that was not pre-existing. If that occurred, I'd just have to pay for an airfare back to Australia and go back to the old Medicare. It's not that hard to get back to Oz from Vietnam. It's just 2 flights, and so that would be the worst case scenario. I think bugger it. I've only booked the accommodation in Da Nang for 1 month, and I got a very good rate there. I think the original quote for 27 days was $850 or $60. And as soon as I added an extra day, it made it a monthly rent, and it was down to about $680. So it dropped by a couple of $100 almost. So it always plays. I'm quite happy to stay up there for a month. I really enjoyed myself last time, and I'll be at Saigon for a few days prior to that going up, and then a few days on the return to get my return flight from Saigon, because that's a hub. And I'll be able to get a flight back to Sydney and then finally back to Cairns. So that's probably what will happen. I haven't booked any of those flights yet, but I did notice that the Vietjet flights had really come down in price. I think they were only about $250, and I think the previous year I was paying $150 more than that for the equivalent seat. So that's come down quite considerably. So at least air travel's got a little cheaper, and I've got a good deal on the accommodation in Da Nang, and I'll probably stay at a homestay that I stayed at last time for the first leg of my Saigon trip. I won't bother going down to District 7. It's a bit of a hassle, and I think I can put up with the pollution in Saigon for about 4 days without dying. So then I'll be back in Da Nang, and it'll be a lot cleaner environment. So look, that should all work out okay, and I really do need something to look forward to like that trip. And as I said, I'm cooking my own meals here, say 6 days of the week. But if I'm actually in overseas. I very rarely do any cooking. I did a couple of basic meals with the Vietnamese spinach and sautéed in garlic, and because I generally get a place that's got cooking facilities. This one has as well. So it's a studio apartment, so it's got everything I need, plus a nice big balcony, which is a real bonus. So I don't mind cooking a couple of times in the month, maybe for up to 4 times. And the main reason I do that is I want to make sure I get plenty of greens. Whenever I travel, I want to make sure that I continue on getting a healthy diet. Can't sustain myself on banh mi's or mi quang noodles all the time. Need to get some specific green meal. They do serve them at that particular meal at some restaurants, and it's reasonably priced. It's about half the price. I would pay half the price actually at the by cooking it myself. But it's talking about the difference between bugger all and F all as far as cost is concerned. It's that low. It's not really much of an advantage. So, but what I do want to check out there, I'll be more like a local or an expat. I'm going to go and check out their hypermarts, because I only shopped at the mini marts over there. There's millions of those, but of course they cost more and they don't have the same variety as a hypermart. So I'll check out one of their proper supermarkets next time, and just get on the back of a grab bike and put my backpack on and just fill up the backpack and do some shopping and get a grab home. If I'm really adventurous, I might even get one of their local buses, but we'll see. Looks like I'm up for a bit of mowing again at the backyard, because we've had a couple of dumps of rain. It doesn't take much for the grass to grow again. When I came back from my drinks and meal at the sports club on Wednesday, John, my neighbour, was out there mowing my nature strip, and made me feel really guilty, because I was thinking when I left the house on Wednesday, I said, yeah, this is pretty due for another mow, and I was thinking, well, I'll get in on ahead of John, but he usurped me again. No, he's a nice guy, but I do feel guilty having my neighbour do my front lawn. I guess it was nothing to him, but I'd like to reciprocate. I don't even do all of their front lawn, I just do it to their driveway, but he's just a good neighbour, I guess. It's nice around here. Yeah, I don't have any hassles with neighbours, so that's good. I did have hassles when I was living in a flat, and I think when you're in a flat, and that was on the top floor, to make sure they wouldn't have as much interaction with other neighbours, because there was just a guy downstairs, and of course it just happened to be some guy that was noisy and had some kooky girlfriend who was also noisy. I assume she's a girlfriend or just a friend. I don't know, and I don't care. But once they set off their smoke alarm, I had to call the bloody the fire brigade to come in to check it out, because you just don't know. Their place might be going up in flames. So that would have cost them a bit. I don't think they would have been impressed, but you've got to use a bit of common sense. You don't, if they left something on the stove and walked out, well, that's the problem with those smoke alarms. Anyway, look, sorry for not updating, but again, I didn't really have much to report, and I just don't want to fill in space for the sake of it. That's the beauty of travelling, of course. There's always something interesting to mention then. But I'm so damn lazy. I was thinking about doing this video, just walking down to the beach, but I couldn't even be bothered doing that. I did have a fairly long walk home from the bus stop on the main highway, and that would be in excess of 30 minutes. And it wasn't super hot, but it's a long walk, and I was pretty buggered when I got back home. Got to admit, the endorphins kicked in, so you always feel better for it. And, I'd like to get a bit of exercise. But, I try to avoid going down to the beach on weekends, because it'll be crowded with families and what have you. It's a bit quieter on the weekdays, and seeing as Friday, this would have been the ideal time to go down. But, of course, being the lazy prick I am, I didn't get off my arse and do it. Anyway, look, I'll stop rambling, and please consider commenting on the video, and give me a thumbs up, and consider subscribing to my humble channel. I would really appreciate that. So have a good day.